I think it was shortly after the 2012 event. I was shoveling my driveway and I realized I only wanted to do one more. It's just kind of one of those that just it clicks, and then you're like, yeah, that's not going away. That's happening. And part of me just feels like a massive dickhead for like putting everybody through that last event and then kind of telling everyone afterwards. But the other half of me, like, there's just absolutely no other way I could have done that. I could not have made the announcement beforehand and made it through the event. All those conversations, the continuous like, oh, just keep doing it for the love or anything like I maybe it would have been better and maybe it wouldn't have been as bad that I was kind of manifesting in my head. But, to me, that was just the only way I knew how to do it. And part of it was that I didn't want everyone to experience the event as if it was the last event. I wanted everyone to just experience the event and then end it afterwards. Is it entirely my say to make that choice for everybody? Like I said, call me a dickhead if you want. Very, very warranted. But that was just the way I decided to do it, and the way I kind of felt I had to do it.
I'm not gonna call
Totally.
you a I'm not gonna call you a dickhead, but I remember being very pissed that because that was like the first bitter cold I missed in like 10 years or something like that, or
Yeah,
like maybe 8 years. I happened to
yeah,
miss that one, and then afterwards I found out that I was the last one. I was like, no.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
And
don't take
yeah, but
anything.
I
I
mean
don't take anything on
that's
it.
yeah. I mean that's part of it too. But also that that was the time when everyone's kind of transitioning into where we are now. Is that I'll catch the next one. I'll do the next one, and we talked about it ever so briefly. Is I think the magic of this one was I didn't leave that as a possibility for anybody. You weren't going to plan on catching the next one. Like you had to make this one happen. And that was really, kind of I think what made this year so special.
Hmm.
I think that's a perfect segue to talk about what it is that
Yeah.
motivated you to bring this event back. So after, and first of all, 13, the first 13 events, that's something that's not easy to do. Running a contest is very difficult. There's a lot of moving parts. Um, and so while some may have been upset, I would just say thank you for producing those 13 events just to begin with, because that in
Yeah.
and of itself is a very difficult thing. This is coming from someone who's done 3 events. And then I was just like, holy shit, this is too much. But so um, was there, I'm sure you had people calling you after 2013, oh, come on, you got to do it again, or like the random sporadic messages with the push. But what solidified you moving forward and trying to get this one going this past year?
Well, so I think it was a combination of a couple things. The obviously the distance that everybody had during COVID, the separation, Winter Clash being canceled, not having those events to bring everybody together. I think COVID made it so much more obvious to me that there just weren't a lot of events like this to start with. So I felt like there was a place for it. But beyond that, the only thing that really um, before talking to Modern, before having conversations with anybody, I reached out to the past winners because for me, I think the only way that I wanted to make it happen is if we could do something different, if we could do something exciting, and we could do something that kind of honored the history of the event and the awesome list of winners that we have that are all insanely relevant today. Like you, Billy, Sean, Roscoe, Cadeau, CJ. Uh, we didn't get Bailey, but the Montre. Everybody is so relevant today, and I think that's where it really started. Was talking to Broscow and getting some of those people that don't seem to be really excited about anything, excited about the idea of having the event again, really kind of helped push it forward. And then, kind of having the conversation with Modern, they were down immediately. It was funny visiting there over Thanksgiving. Our planning meeting was like a half an hour. It's not, we've done it before. We knew what we were doing. We're going to do it again. So it really kind of all clicked into place. But, a combination of those different things. And I just, it's a very satisfying feeling, but I just had a feeling that doing this one more time would be special. It would be wanted, and it would be attended. And we really had that in spades. And, that really, having that thought and then manifesting it is always a lot of fun to kind of see it come together. If rollerblading could afford it, yes, you could do a bitter cold. That'd be fine. If I had the resources, the one thing, even if I don't know, if the resources were available, the one thing that I would manifest, that I would make happen, MTV Sports and Music Festival downhill course within a city. Not steep, crazy, just a little bit of a slant. Get some shipping containers, get everything out there so it's really articulated and kind of like runs from the top to the bottom. That's your event. That's one thing that I would, the resources for that's one thing I would have trouble staying away from. But just because mostly too is like that's something new, that's something different, that's pushing something, that's, bringing something elevated to rollerblading. Bitter cold is great, but somebody else can do bitter cold. Like I said, I'm not special. There's nothing super unique about me. It's not going to have the name bitter cold, but there are people. I refuse to believe that there are not people in this industry that can do a better job than I have. I think the one thing I want to end with is that if you are interested and you have the enthusiasm to do something like bitter cold, I am a resource. Like, reach out to me directly, email, send me an Instagram message or something. I will find it. I can give you any and all advice that I can possibly give you. Like, I'm very sincere about that. I'm not just kind of like, throwing it out there for no reason. It's what I want to mention, and I would be happy to impart and spew all of the information, all of the knowledge I've gained over the years, to see somebody else kind of take that and somebody else build that further. Nothing would make me happier, and I'm very sincere in offering that advice to anybody that wants it.